and welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today we're not making soap. We are going to make emulsified body butter. It's getting to be that time of year where a good body butter is wonderful for thirsty skin. As the temperatures cool off, in our area the humidity goes down and I need to start moisturizing more. So that's what's on my mind today. And the fragrance we're going to use is Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds. I just used this in another recipe and I just love the scent. It smells really good. Discolors to brown in soap, but I don't have to worry about that in a body butter. Yeah, yummy, yummy. It's a mouthful though. I wish the name was a little shorter. And this is a dupe. I think it's a Bath and Body Works dupe or somebody, Yankee Candle, I don't know, but it smells great. And so I'll probably come up with a different name for it because that's a mouthful. It smells fantastic though. So you could do an essential oil in this body butter, or you could leave it unscented also. Just because I use fragrance oils and love them, you definitely have the freedom to not use fragrance oils. I have some friends that are very much try to stay away from all fragrance oils, even if, like, the fragrance oils I use are phthalate free, paraben free, and I'm comfortable using them. But you've got options as a maker, so just because I'm using one doesn't mean you have to. The recipe would stay the same. It's still fabulous. Let me get everything pulled together, get my work surface sanitized, and let's come back and make some moisturizing, scrumptious, emulsified body butter. All right, before I get to sanitizing my work surface, I was pulling out the jars that I want to use, and I was gifted these jars. These are the, let me look up here, the Jasper straight-sided glass jar from Barouche, Canada, and they come in these wonderful little white boxes that are perfect for labeling if you're shipping your products. They are just gorgeous. They come in different color, inspired by the ocean jasper stone, I believe. All right, the description says this is a Jasper straight-sided jar. It's a staple for makers. 8-ounce jar comes in 5 stunning colors inspired by ocean jasper stone. And I think they are absolutely gorgeous. Even this black one, it's a little, you can see through it, and this smoke tinted one, they are so beautiful. So I'll be using one of these jars for my body butter, and I'll be making candles at another date because I'm making a gift basket for my church is having an auction, and they asked me if I would put together a gift basket. And so one of these body butters and a matching candle is going to go in. I wanted to show you, here is what the picture looks like on their website. There's the colors. Absolutely stunning. Thank you, Barouche, Canada. These are fabulous, and I am really looking forward to using one of these. It's hard to pick which color I want for what, but what a fun problem to have. And I will have a little left over. I'm making about a 12-ounce batch today, so one of these 8-ounce jars will be filled, and then if I have any left over, I have my little 4-ounce jars here with lids that I will fill up with any leftover for just a small little gifty or just for myself use. So now let me get my work surface prepped and ready to get making some body butter. We are back and ready to get going. We're going to start with our water phase, and I have my little hot plate off to the side here with my saucepan and water that I use as a faux double boiler to melt my oil phase and warm up my water. So that's off to the side here. And so I'm going to start with the water phase on this. Is so simple. You could make this more complicated with do a water aloe vera split or add some glycerin in here as a portion. I'm just going to do straight distilled water. That's what we're doing today. And I need 224 grams or 8 ounces of distilled water. All right, and that is it. Now I'm going to set my water off on my hot plate to start heating up, and we're going to measure out our oil phase of the body butter. All right, and for the first butter, I buy these in bulk, so I have a ginormous container of mango butter, and I'm going to be doing 13.6 grams or a half an ounce of mango butter in this container. All right, and my next butter, and this is a triple butter. It's going to be mango shea and cocoa butter. So I'm going to do 20.4 grams or 0.72 ounces of shea butter. All right, and the last butter, but not the least, is my cocoa butter wafers, and I'm going to add 20.4 grams or 0.72 ounces of cocoa butter. And now my liquid oil I'm using today is a hemp seed oil. I just think it is so luxurious in a body butter or a lotion. So that's what I'm using. You could use the liquid oil of your choice. If there's something, if you don't have hemp seed or there's something you like better, go ahead and use your liquid oil of choice. I'm going to add half an ounce or 13.6 grams in here. Okay, and then to the oils and butters here, oil and butters, I'm going to add my emulsifying wax, and I'm using just a generic vegetable e-wax from Soaper's Choice. And I need 1 ounce or 27.2 grams. And now I have the last ingredient in our oil phase. I'm going to add cetyl alcohol, and I'm going to add 0.72 ounces or 20.4 grams of cetyl alcohol. And that is it for the oil phase. Do you say cetyl or cetyl alcohol? I've heard both. Anyway, all of it needs to get melted. I know that for sure. So I'm going to set this on my little hot plate here until this is melted, and then we'll get on to whipping up our body butter. All right, we're back, and it's time for the magic. This is my favorite part, adding the water phase and the oil phase, and it just immediately turns into milky goodness. I'm not going to take the temperature right now, and I'll tell you why. I don't take the temperature on this side of melt. For me, what I'm looking for is a simmer and melted. That's what I'm looking for. After I blend them, I will take the temperature because we're going to be adding our preservative, which needs to be added under 120 degrees, my Optiphen, and then the fragrance and the vitamin E, and that's the cool down phase. So first things first, typically you should pour your water into your oil phase so you don't lose as much, but I've overshot and got a really big container, so I'm going to add my oil to my water phase here, and I just love it. Look at this. Ah. It's like magic potion, that beautiful milky goodness, and you know it's going to turn into something really luxurious. I just find it so satisfying. All right, so I am going to use my stick blender in here and get this nice and emulsified, and then let it cool until we get under 120 degrees. And then we'll get on to our cool phase additions. There we go. So much goodness in one little cup, right? Got to be really careful with this glass beaker trying to tap out the air bubbles. There we go. And let's get this blended up. All right, it's nice and blended. Let's go ahead and take the temperature now, and I'll show you what we're waiting for. 146. So we have to wait for this to cool down a bit. So we'll be back for the next phase. All right, let's give this a quick blend and see what the temperature's at. It's already starting to thicken up really nicely. All right. $115.7. We are in the go here. Let's get this on the scale. And now it's time for the preservative. I'm using Optiphen today, like I showed you, and I am going to use this at 0.5%. You can use Optiphen from 0.5% up to 1.5% in that range. So I'm doing 0.5, 0.5% Optiphen, which is 0.06 ounces or 1.7 grams going on in here. All right, the next cool down phase ingredient is vitamin E oil. I love it. It's an antioxidant. This is not a preservative, but it is an antioxidant, and it will help stabilize the oils, and it's really good on your skin. I'm going to be adding 1.7 grams or 0.06 ounces of vitamin E oil. All right, and of course the last ingredient that I'm using is my fragrance oil. You could use your essential oil, leave it unscented, totally up to you. I'm using 2% fragrance oil in this, and I'm gonna do 0.24 ounces or 6.8 grams of fragrance. But please look up the usage rate on whatever you're doing. Don't just go by what I'm using. You need to make sure that you're using the proper amount for your fragrance or essential oil. And that is it for the ingredients. Now it's time to get this really well and blended in and let it continue to cool. I do have a piping bag off to the side just to get it in the jars without a lot of mess, and it will get nice and thick. So we're gonna want that piping bag. I like to add my cool down phase while it's still warm, over 100 degrees, so that you can make sure it blends fully into the whole lotion. You don't want any pockets of preservative or fragrance or anything. You want it really well and incorporated. That looks absolutely fabulous. I'm going to go ahead and pull my stick blender out, and I'll just hand stir this as it continues to cool, and we'll be back when it's ready to pipe into our beautiful jars. I just wanted to add that if you did not want to pipe this, you can pour it while it's warm. Just be sure to leave the lid off your jar or whatever vessel you're using so that you don't get condensation buildup. You want it to be completely cool before you put the lid on. But if you don't have a piping bag, pour it while it's warm. It's still pourable at this point. All right, can we just talk a second about how gorgeous this is? It is so creamy and delightful. Love, love. And it's still cooling down, but it's nice and thick, so I'm going to put it in the piping bag and go ahead and get it piped in the jars. And again, I'll let it sit until it's fully cooled before I put those lids on. It's just so thick and luscious. All right, guys, the gloves are off. It's all jarred up, and I'm going to do a product demo. But first, I just want to show you, even while it's still warm, it is so thick. This is such a luxurious recipe, so moisturizing. This is a whopping big jar, but you can still get your fingers in the bottom to scoop out, so I really like that. Go grab my scoops. When I was selling retail and when I give these as a gift, I always give a little bamboo. These are just testing spoons. There's round ones, and these have a little square, and I like these. I'll keep one in my bathroom next to my jar so I can scoop down there if my hands are damp, or you know, I just don't like cross-contamination. Even though there's a preservative in here, I love these little scoops. Just scoop down, and that way you're not sticking your fingers in here. And again, if you have moisture on your skin, I don't like to introduce moisture into my products, but that's what the preservative's for. But these little spoons, I think, are wonderful, and they look really cute next to the jars, so there's a tip on that. I'm going to use this on my hands and show you how much I love it, and then I'll go print some labels out for these jars, and we'll do the labeling and all of the good stuff. But first, let me give this a try. The 2% fragrance, this is a light scented fragrance. It's not one of those in-your-face strong ones. It's just really nice. So it wouldn't conflict if you had a deodorant with a different scent or even a fragrance on. This is not going to crash into whatever you're using. It just has a beautiful essence of fragrance at a low percentage. It's nice. It does smell kind of warm. So that Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds has notes of vanilla, marshmallow fluff, and sandalwood. And it had a floral note in there too. So I'm thinking about calling this vanilla sandalwood because those are the main notes. It's definitely has a sweet overtone. Look how fast that rubbed in. This is very moisturizing. It has a beautiful skin feel. I'll show you again. It's just thick and luscious, and it absorbs very quickly into the skin, and you will feel so moisturized after using this. And it doesn't leave a shine. It absorbs in without leaving a tacky feeling. I love this formula. So easy to make, and with the butters and the liquid oil, you can play around and do whatever combo you like. That's what I love about lotion and body butters, is there's wiggle room. You can really customize this. So I hope you do play around with the recipe. It's so fun. I love making lotions and body butters. They're so satisfying, and you get it the same day you can use it. I love that. Soap, you've got to use some patience. Body butters and lotions, you get to use them the same day you make them. And we are back with the labels. Here they are. I bought this label template on Etsy, and there are a ton on there. If you go on Etsy and look for a lotion label or soap label, trust me, you will find a ton. And that's where this pretty font and the whole design comes from. And you know what? I appreciate people who can design stuff like this, and I'm willing to pay them for it. I think it's fabulous. Here is the label size that I am using today. These are 1.5 by 5-inch long labels, and they fit on a ton of different size jars. I love these labels. So there it is. These are from onlinelabels.com, and I use their Maestro label designer to drag in my template that I bought on Etsy, and that is how I printed my labels. Please don't ask for a tutorial. I am terrible at printing labels and stuff. This is like the weakest part of my business, is printing labels. So please don't ask me. I am not the person to ask for advice, but there are people out there who can advise you, so go seek them out. All that being said, these are fully cooled. Let's go ahead and get the labels on this beautiful jar from Marouge, Canada. I just think these are fabulous, and I'm going to be making candles with all the rest of my jars, because I just think they're the perfect candle size also. Beautiful gold lids. Love everything about these. And there we go. Oh my goodness. I'm pretty delighted with this formula and the scent and the jars, everything. I'm so happy, and this is going to be beautiful in a gift basket with a matching candle. Think about gifts. That, you know, the season is upon us to start thinking about all of that. So I hope you do give the recipe a try. It is fabulous. I think you'll love it as much as I do, and I hope you have a wonderful day.